All right, welcome back to I'm Glad You Asked. My name is Bianca Ariel, business coach and creator of the Career to Calling course.
And I am Dominique Rice, owner of Dominique Rice Consulting.
All right, so before we get started today, I want to send a thank you to Fiverr for sponsoring today's show. Find the perfect freelance services for your business, and you can get started today with the link in the description below. So, all right, Dominique, how was your week?
Oh my gosh. So this week has been amazing. I know I always talk about feeling aligned and things of that nature, but both personally and professionally, I feel super aligned. I'm going to jump right into my positive challenge positive. So my positive for this week is I hired a personal trainer. I just really wanted someone who can help me with my fitness goals, not have to go anywhere. He comes and he lives in my building, so I can just walk right downstairs and we train together. So that's super exciting. And my challenge for this week is I am not reading enough, and I'm a book person. I believe knowledge is power, and we learn so much by reading. So I have to really spend some time and challenge myself to really start reading more within that. I mean, just in general, but this week I really want to push myself to take some quality reading time. And my other positive for this week is I was able to get all of this stuff together to finalize my taxes, which is so important to me because every issue we've had finding payroll documents because switching payroll services and just all kinds of different things. So I'm super excited to be on the up and up with everybody between my CPA, our tax attorney, and everybody's on the same page at the same time, and we're ready to go. So I'm very excited about that. What about you?
Yes. So number one, okay, so positive. I temporarily relocated to Tulum, Mexico. I love how she's acting like she doesn't know. Like, really?
Well, I'm jealous because I have another group of friends in Tulum right now. They're like hiring chefs and doing, so it's like Black Boss Babes in Tulum takeover. So I'm having a lot of FOMO, but I'm so glad you're there.
Yes, and I have to explain to a lot of people I'm not on vacation. Like, I'm working. I've got a studio apartment, and so yeah, so I'm adjusting. So that leads me into my challenge. So it took me a while to adjust. I will say that I went through a little bit of a transitional depression, just getting acclimated to my new lifestyle. So I originally stayed in a co-living space, and I don't know why I do that to myself. I cannot live with people, like, at all. So that wasn't a great experience. The internet wasn't that good. I'm actually gonna launch a vlog or like a diary, so I'll show like a couple of pictures, little snippets of what that was looking like. And then yeah, so now I'm in my own apartment and I'm getting adjusted, and I feel good today. I feel really good. I went to the grocery store, I cooked, I got a lot of stuff done. And then another positive is I officially started coaching school. So even though I already coach clients and things like that, I want to go ahead and work on my certification and just become a little bit more comfortable in the coaching aspect. I think that I'm really an expert in the consulting phase. And so I really want to help people with some underlying issues. So I went ahead and enrolled for school, and I officially started.
Yay! Congratulations. Just huge accomplishments all around the board. Launching as a nomad and a traveler again in Tulum is exciting, and coaching school is awesome. I know this isn't our topic for this week, but depression is like really, really serious, especially in the Black community, and we have to be able to acknowledge it. And one thing Bianca and I talk all the time, but she said to me was, you don't know what it is when you're in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that really resonated with me because I was really, really depressed running one of my businesses. And I literally didn't think I could get out of it. Not that I didn't know I was depressed, but I was like, oh, well, I'm so blessed. And I'm so, I have to do this. It's my passion. And I love helping people. And, all these people count on me for jobs. And when I say it was the biggest release to release that, and and then like see like, wow, I was really not happy. And then Bianca also mentioned today about a video that she has of me doing some kind of interviewing for someone, and she was like, you look like a totally different person. And I feel like a different person, and I still have a long way to go in terms of weight loss and things like that, but I totally feel like a whole weight has been lifted off of me. And so depression is real, y'all. So
Super,
it's
super
intense.
real. And yeah, I just kind of excuse it with like, oh, well, I just moved. So, I'm just going to celebrate for now. Let me go check out the area and get a drink, and then another drink, and then another drink, and then another drink. And let me order some food, and let me order this, and let me order. And I'm like, okay, like, what's going on? I'm looking around. I'm like, I got containers everywhere. I got my clothes everywhere. And I'm like, okay, so Monday morning, you're going to get up, you're going to start documenting, and you're going to clean your F up, and then you're going to get it together. And so I feel so much better. I feel back to normal.
You look
So
amazing, girl.
thank you. So anyway, so yeah, so that's that. So for this week, we are actually going to talk about maximizing our strengths and then outsourcing our weaknesses. So I know you've had some experience with that, and I actually picked this topic before we partnered with Fiverr, but this is actually a great introduction. So
Yeah.
go ahead. So talk to us about that.
So it's so funny because it was last Friday. I had a lot going on. And so I have a virtual assistant that works right now about 20 hours a week. She wants to go full time. We'll see. Um, we got to work. We have to work on her productivity, and we'll go from there. But we'll discuss that at a later date. Let's do some KPIs and really get her going. And if not, you know what we have to do. But one thing is I outsource to my sales funnel to my VA, which she's doing a wonderful job with, and I do diversity and inclusion. So I help businesses with programs like membership programs, like your coaching school would be an ideal client of mine, association and clubs. I help them with supplier and inclusion. So then that way they can, be on the same page as their members. And so Friday, for instance, I had my VA was doing my sales funnel. My Fiverr copywriter was able to edit. I write all my own emails, but he was able to edit, make things more concise and things of that nature. So while I was running around helping my clients finalize their PPP loans, getting all my clients situated, my team on the back end had my Fiverr sales funnel and my VA was running it through all my technology. And then I saw at the end of the day, I contacted 150 companies and didn't have to do anything. And that was just done. Hey. And I just had to get to come up with the concept. And then I taught a session at a women's conference this weekend. And I really want women to know, like, girl, it's okay not to outsource. It's okay not to do everything, because as Black women especially, we're so accustomed to feeling like we have to carry the bag and carry the burden, and like outsourcing seems weak. Saturday, I was able to hang out. I came home, my house was cleaned, all my stuff was done, my sheets were changed. Like, those are things you don't have to do, and you shouldn't feel bad about not doing them, because your productivity will increase the more we delegate.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I worked with the VA in the past, and I definitely, outsource a lot of them. Like, I used to have like an animated series and things like that I've outsourced. And I also recommend outsourcing to my clients as well, because like you mentioned, we can't do it all. We really can't do it all. And so for me, I do want to bring somebody on board. But I don't know, I'm just such a control freak. I'm like, I don't know if this is going to get done the way I want it to get done. You know what I mean? Or I don't know if I want to give someone all access to all of my information. So tell me, like, I know you mentioned in another episode, it's kind of like write down everything that you do on a daily basis and then circle everything that you can outsource. So tell us a little bit more about that.
So one thing is, it's so important to me to be able to outsource. So the first thing I do, I recommend anyone do, even me, even my staff, like with our sitting service in the past, when we knew it was time to hire, it was when my staff was overworking themselves. So that you can even do this for your staff to see, okay, if everybody's feeling a little overworked, everybody in my office do this. So the first thing you do is every 30 minutes, write down what you're doing. Oftentimes we are doing busy work and we're not realizing it. So in order for this to be successful, literally every 30 minutes, write everything you did during that 30-minute block and do that for an entire week. As entrepreneurs, we don't just work Monday through Friday. So also include your weekends as well, because we want to see how you're spending that time. And then there's different ways to do it. You can circle everything you don't like to do. You can outline everything that is a repetitive task, like sending out bulk emails, making the newsletters, just things that can easily be done by someone else. And then from there, you can kind of see, you know what? I need somebody that can focus on content creation, social media, emails, things of that nature. Or you may say, I need someone who can help with billing, or I need someone that can help with recruiting. Whatever that looks like, you know, based on what your audit has shown you, that's how you know what job you want to hire for.
Okay. So that's that's a task that I'm going to assign myself this week.
You should.
Now that I'm on schedule, I'm going to start writing down everything that I have to do. With it, whether it's mostly editing and posting and because I'm like, how am I going to get everything done with school? Like I do most of my outreach on LinkedIn. So I feel like that's going to be my outsource. I think that's what I need to outsource at the end of the day. It's all the outreach. I just like to do it organically because I can look at everyone's profile and see like if they work a job or they have a career and a side business. That's my ideal client. So I like to reach out to them and say, hey, I see that you're doing such and such and you have this business and, you know, this is how I've been able to do it. And I do that all organically. So I'm going to see if that's something that I can outsource. And I just want to find a company that really focuses on that, or maybe I can hire someone to do that specifically. Because what happens is when you hire a company to do it, it's all automated. And so they just start running a whole bunch of like outreach to people that are just like not really ideal. And so I want to make sure that there's some type of authenticity to it. So I'll figure that out because that pretty much takes most of my time. And then especially with the editing and things like that and social media. So I actually just did a trial for Buffer. So what I'm going to do is try to create stuff ahead of time. Because if, you know, anybody notices, the social media is just not my thing. But I'm going to try to create things and put it on an automatic timer to where they're released at certain times of the day. And then the only thing that I'll manage on my own is just my own personal Instagram. So we'll see if that works. We'll see how that goes. So yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
What do you think are some of your strengths and what are some of your weaknesses?
In terms of outsourcing?
Yeah, like what do you think that you pretty much are primarily going to do on your own? And what are some of the things that you're outsourcing?
So some of the things that I outsource are social media. You know, I still take creative control. So like I outsource more so, okay, make all these memes, you know, like take all of my client recommendations and put them into a, you know, Canva, do things like that. So one thing to kind of piggyback on what you were saying about like, if I recommend you hiring a person like a VA, but what you can be doing now is you can be recording yourself, making videos of who your ideal client is. So just like we're talking, you can have the camera up and you can go through someone's LinkedIn profile and say, okay, I'm going to this person's LinkedIn profile. Okay, she works here. She has this. This is her background. She went to school here, those kind of things. Okay, she'd be an ideal person and this is why. And then you can like basically just record yourself doing that and then cultivate a training program for whoever you're hiring. Because my biggest downside to when I'm hiring is I'm not the best trainer. So really once you learn how to train, you'll do amazing. So, and because they're not with you in your office, which is what I'm accustomed to, you are, it's a lot harder for me to train because I like people to learn from me. But using video content combined with allowing them to practice, allowing them to make mistakes, written content to allow them to be able to do that is what I'd recommend. Areas that I excel in terms of things that I don't outsource, I like to talk to all my clients myself. That's about it. Everything else.
Right. Eventually, I just want, like, it's going to be to the point, I want to do all my own onboarding because I love the term chemistry call, because if they're going to be working with me one-on-one, I want to make sure there's chemistry on both sides. So I want to do all my own onboarding because just like our clients choose us, we choose our clients too. And then I want to do all my own coaching. I want to film my docu-series. And then I also want to edit it, just because I feel like whoever is filming should edit, because you kind of know what story you want to tell. And that's it. So everything else I'll be outsourcing. So as time progresses, we'll definitely start delegating that, because I don't know about you, I want to create an agency. So I want people, I want team members. I don't want to be a solopreneur, and I'm going to start creating intellectual property. So my one-on-one coaching time right now is for me to kind of build up my portfolio and testimonies. But at the end of the day, I'm going to start taking some of those really, really great exercises and really, really great sessions and formulating them into intellectual property, so that people can just access them at any time from anywhere. So yeah, so I like that. So we're going to do a fun question for the week. So our fun question for this week is, a little pivot. So let's talk about the worst date you've ever been on.
Oh, I've had some pretty good dates.
Okay.
Let me tell you about the worst that I've ever been on. And then the guy tried to turn around on me like I was a bitch, basically. So it was a connection made through one of my colleagues. He and I owned a commercial cleaning company together. And I
did not know that you owned a commercial cleaning company before. Who are you? You are a serial entrepreneur. Like, oh yeah, that one time I owned
in that industry. I don't like it. We were able to sell it earlier this year as well. I was like releasing all the stuff I'm not passionate about. But my colleague and I owned a franchise of Jenna King, which is a commercial cleaning service, throughout the Southeast. Okay. And he was a very good friend of mine. And I was supposed to go out to celebrate something, maybe like a belated birthday or something. He couldn't make it. And he was like, oh, Dominique, I'm going to have XYZ take you. I'm not going to say his name. And I was like, okay. And so we were going to go to the strip club. So I was like, all right, cool. So his friend came to get me and picked me up in a like amazing Jag or something super fancy. And it's like, we're going to have a great time. The whole drive there, he talked to different girls on the phone, on Bluetooth, so I could hear both conversations. It wasn't like your mom or your daughter or your sister. I'm like, okay, so maybe we're just kicking it as friends. But I kind of thought he was trying to talk to me. So then we get there, we're just like hanging out and whatever. And I'm a heavy drinker, so I was like drinking all the liquor. I'm like, yeah, this is fun. And then he was just kind of like mad that I wasn't all about him. So he told my friend that I was very stuck up and all this and all that. And then when I told my friend, like, well, he was on the phone with other girls, so then I just assumed it was no longer a date. Like, and he's like, what? He was on the phone with other girls the whole time. I'm like, yes, not just one, not two, but three in our 25-minute drive.
Oh my God.
So that was probably the worst day I've ever been on. I was like, what?
Okay, I'm trying to think, because I have three worst dates. But I guess I'll tell a story of one, I guess. Okay. So I don't know if I ever told you the time I had a sugar daddy for like one day. No. So I had a sugar daddy for one day. I was actually with a girl at STK in Atlanta, and he came over to talk to us. And, we like later on, we ended up exchanging numbers. So I was like, okay, he was like an older guy, like whatever. And mind you, I was like, I was a baby, like 20, I don't know, 21, whatever. So anyways, so we ended up exchanging numbers, and then I went to work that day, and I had to be a little bit older. I think it was like 23, 24, because I went to work that day, and then he was like, hey, what are you doing for lunch or whatever? And I was like, I don't know, I'm going to go get my nails done. So he was like, oh, okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead. I got you on the nails. I was like, oh, okay. So I went, got my nails done. I remember he got on the phone with them and like gave him his credit card number. And so back in the day, I'm like, dang, he paid for my nails. We good. So then he was like, so what you doing tonight? And I had a friend in town. So because we met the day before when I was out with dinner with her at STK. So I was like, oh, I don't know. I think I'm just going to hang out with me and my friend. So he's like, do you want to go to the Hawks game? So I was like, okay, cool. So he sends me an email of like the tickets, like to scan through. And I was like, how do I know these are really going to work? Girl was like, floor seats. So I was like, how do I know this? Yeah, I was like, how how do I know these are going to work? So anyway, so I printed them out or whatever. And I told the girl, I was like, listen, we're going to go to a Hawks game. I don't know if these tickets are real, so don't try to play me if they don't work, but we gonna see anyway. So we get dressed. Anyways, so we get dressed, we go to the game, we scan the tickets, VIP, like floor seats, go, like it was lit. So I was like, okay, good. And I'm supposed to be like dating this girl, taking her out, but at the end of the day, like it was on him. So anyway, so we on floor seats, we having a good time. So then he pops up and I was like, oh shoot. So anyways, so I think we met like other guys at the game that were sitting next to us. So then this guy pops up and then he sits down next to me and I was like, oh, I was like, hey, I'm like, what's up? I didn't know he was going to show up. So then after that, he was like putting his arm around me. It was like, he was like my dad's age. It was like inappropriate. So I was like, you know, and you know me, like I'm a lesbian. So I'm like, I don't know how to, I'm like, whatever. And I'm not attracted to him whatsoever. So we're at the game, and then after, they have an after party back at STK, but it was like a private party, and like there was all these celebrities there and stuff like that. So he's like basically like putting his arm around me or whatever, and he tries to move in and kiss me, and I'm like, nah, like get out of here, because I'm forgetting like this ain't for free. Like what you thought? Like this is not for free. So I like decline him. So he kicks me. He tries to kick me out of the party. So he basically like was like, nah, like getting security and like put like basically they're like, you need to get up and you need to get out of the party. So I don't know who he was, but apparently he was somebody. And so I'm with the girl too. So we're leaving the party or whatever. And then he's calling my phone, blowing me up. So I go to, I'm walking to my car, and then he's at the car, like trying to argue with me. And I'm like, what is, like, I'm like, we're like, I met you like yesterday. I'm like, if this is what people have to go through for some floor seats, like I'm good. So I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Own floor seats. They're really not that expensive. I mean, it's pricey, but whatever.
I don't know. I was like, girl, this is not for me. And so the girl gets mad and is like, what's going on here? And I was just like, oh my God, this is just not turning out the way that I wanted to. So that's the worst. That's my worst date scenario. I had a couple. One of them.
It was gonna be bad because technically you're on 2 dates at one time.
Yeah, I didn't think
it never would have ended well.
Think about it like that, but yeah. So that was my worst date story. All right. So, do you have any questions for this week?
So I have one question for this week, and it is in regards to social media.
Okay.
Two questions. One is, if you're trying to grow your social media platforms, what are some things you can do?
So organically or automatically?
Organically.
So I've went through a course on this before, and the suggestion is that, so basically if you want to look for other accounts that have your target demographic. So if there's not necessarily your competitors, but maybe your colleagues. So if there's anybody that does a similar service or offers a similar product to yours, and you want to look through their followers, because those people are interested in what you have to offer as well, right? So you want to look through, you want to make a list of like maybe 10 of them per day, go through their followers and then start following them and liking their pictures. And then you can kind of put a timer on for like 20 minutes or so. And once they make sure your bio and everything has your services and what you have to offer, because when you see people that follow you or like your pictures, you're going to naturally go to their profile and look at their bio. And then if they're interested, then they'll follow you back. So it's recommended to do that for like 20 minutes a day and then start organically growing.
Yeah, and when I did that, I really grew my followers substantially, especially on Instagram. And then the other thing is, I had a friend reach out because it was just a friend, so I just kind of threw my tips together in a quick PDF for her, nothing fancy, but super stressed on why she's not showing up on Google SEO. And so I'll briefly just share with you guys what I gave her, like a 10-step program, what to do. So the first thing I told her was make a list of long tail keywords and short tail keywords. Okay. So for those of y'all who don't know, long tail keywords is like, if you're a nanny agency, you're going to put in best nanny agency for busy parents. If you're looking to buy a car, where can I buy a car, Honda Accord, and short tail keywords are just things like nanny agency, car, things of that nature. As most of us know, setting up a blog really does help increase SEO, but really don't do that if you're not going to really maintain it, because then you just have a blank blog on there and that does nothing for your SEO, and it makes your business not look as credible. Another thing that I was really strong with, especially in the nanny placement field, is creating link building. Bianca, do you know about link building?
Maybe it's a different word. What it describes.
So, how we describe it is basically attracting people from your website from other websites. So what I used to do is I used to take like partner with organizations like Charlotte Mothers of Multiples, and they would put our logo and a link to our website on their website, so their members would then click from their website to ours.
So something similar to affiliate, like.
Yeah, very similar to that.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so that way it's helping when Google sees people coming from other websites to your websites, it really helps bump your SEO. Another free service is sign up for Google Search Console, and this will, it shows you your SEO metrics on your website.
Google Search Console?
Yep. And I have a video I'll send to you as well that really just explains it. And exactly, it helps you look at what pages are getting the most traction and performing well.
Okay, I like it.
So very similar to the next thing I'll recommend, which is Google Analytics, but they're different, but offer just different things, both totally free, because I wanted to show her, like, before we go spend money hiring people and doing all this stuff, like, let's focus on doing everything we can do ourselves. The next thing is something so simple. Whoever designs your website, make sure that your website's mobile friendly. Okay, because that's the worst. When you go to someone's site on your phone and you can't see the stuff.
And nobody's on their computer when they're looking at your website, by the way. So I mean, barely.
Seriously, like, I really don't. Like, I like to scroll.
Just like simple procedures, like click your links, make sure all of them are updated. Like even on Squarespace, I had to do this. So basically it gives like a broken link option. So like say you ran a promo a while ago and like it no longer exists. So you have like a link to it. If someone clicks on your link, instead of saying like this link is no longer active, it'll just redirect them to your home page. So there's like things like that. Just make sure like the links that you have out there still work. And make sure like if there's like, you have like booking or buy your products, like click and go through your entire customer experience on your website and make sure everything is up to date and everything works, everything's spelled correctly. I used to have someone proofread everything for me because I type like this. And that's it. So yeah.
She does not. Anywho, I know her. She doesn't, but okay. Another thing is get press. So I always recommend press releases. I always say, like, as a starting out business, be able to pitch your business once a month to news outlets. It's amazing, and you will be surprised the news is looking for stories like yours. And then once you build a relationship with them, if you just keep pitching, you're not going to get taken up the first few times, but have at least one pitch a month. Perfect thing to outsource to a VA. Write my press release and write me a press release for the next 12 months. And you can do it based around current events or holidays or promotions that you're going to do according to your marketing plan, things of that nature. And then if something happens in your industry, then you should be prepared to have kind of a press release template and be ready to go with, hey, just fill in the blanks type of thing. The next two things are get set up on Yelp and Google, especially if you're a service industry or product. You really want to be found on Yelp and Google Business, so that way people can leave you reviews. And then the last thing is get reviews. So ask your clients and people, colleagues, to write reviews on Google Business and Yelp, because that's what people are going to. In my professional opinion, Google is bigger on the East Coast, where Yelp is bigger on the West Coast. But if you're like Bianca and you have clients nationwide, all over the world, actually. And so by showing up on Google and Yelp and having reviews on both, That's amazing. So like with one of the companies that I manage, Miami Nannies, we have amazing Google reviews, but our Yelp reviews are trash. We don't have as many because most of our clients, when they love us, they go to Google. And so now we're going to launch a campaign in Q3 to ask those same clients to write positive Yelp reviews. So then that reflects what our business is actually doing. So those are just some of my recommendations that I whipped together in 20 minutes to help out a friend.
I love it. I love it. Great advice. All right. So that's our show for this week. Now, if you're interested in booking a complimentary call with either Dominique or I, all the information is below. You can find Dominique at dominiquerice.com, and you can find me at biancaariel.com. Set up your complimentary call, and then you can go from there. So other than that, we look forward to seeing you guys back next week, and thanks for joining us.
Ciao.
Ciao. I need to learn Spanish, girl.
What you